Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing on the features of 8085 microprocessor and what actually a microprocessor is 8085. So the objective of this lecture will help the students to gain knowledge in 8085 microprocessor and its features. First, we'll be having an slide in whatever the topic we have discussed in the previous video. The same continuation we are going it up. So now we'll be having reflecting to the next one. It is nothing but 8085 microprocessor. So in the last video, we have discussed about what is a microprocessor, an introduction to a microprocessor, the classification of a microprocessor have been taught. Now in this video, we will be discussing about the same microprocessor definition would be discussed. Then what is a 8085 microprocessor? Then we'll be going ahead with the next one. And one more thing, to have a very much a clear view about the what is an 8085 microprocessor, please go through the video on SLT, history of microprocessors. There I will be discussing about what is this 8085 microprocessor, why it is named. Coming to the definition, 8085 the microprocessor is a central processing unit. It's on a single chip in a integrated IC. It all has the functional units. I told you it has an ALU, control unit, and registers. All this would be the functions. Now 8085 microprocessor and now 8-bit microprocessor. So depending on the size of, I have discussed in the CDT1, depending on the size, you would be classifying the microprocessor. So this microprocessor 8085 belongs to the family of 8-bit microprocessors. So you'll be having different 8-bit microprocessors. Out of that one, 8085 is one of the 8-bit microprocessors. So it has a most of the logic circuitry for performing different computing tasks for communicating with the peripherals, or you can say interfacing with the peripherals. Coming to the features of 8085 microprocessor, I have listed out few of the features. More you can find it up if you are going ahead with that one. These are the few of the features. Features of 8085 include, the first one is that it is an 8-bit microprocessor. It is an 8-bit microprocessor means it includes all the 8-bit, can go for 8-bit operations like addition, subtraction, or whatever it is there. All these operations can be carried out by 8-bit data at the moment. But you can go for a 16-bit data provided some set of special instructions online. But the ALU is designed for 8-bit only. So it operates on a power supply of 5 volts. Power supply requirement for an 8085 is that it is 5 volts of power supply. You will be having two power supply pins, VCC and VSS. VSS would be connected to the ground. VCC is to the power supply of 5 volts plus 5 volts. And the clock cycle is 50% duty cycle. When you say on period and off period of the clock is same. It doesn't have let's say different clock. And this clock is being generated by an internal clock generated, which is tuned like you would be having LC or RC or crystal oscillators. So using of these oscillators will be going for generating the clock. Clock would be generated by this one, internal clock, just like an LC oscillator is there. What is an oscillator? Without having an input waveform, getting an output waveform, you say that one. But it takes the energy of the DC source and it will go for developing an analog signal. That is the actual definition. That is nothing but clock. So it would be having a circuit just like an LC oscillator or RC oscillator, and it would be developing a clock of a frequency. It may have a frequency of 3 megahertz or 5 megahertz. So they would be having this one 8085A2 is a version which has an operating frequency of maximum of 5 megahertz, and mostly we'll be having 3 megahertz maximum operating frequency. The next one is that one, even though it is an 8-bit microprocessor, it has a 16-bit address bus. It has a 16-bit address bus. 8085 microprocessor provides 8-bit I/O addresses to access. And say you would be having again 8-bit input-output addresses to access about 256 I/O ports. That is a very large 8-bit addresses which you can address access up to 256 I/O ports. So 8085 has an 16-bit address lines. Apart from 8-bit data lines, you are having a unique feature of 16-bit address lines. So if you are having 16-bit address lines, you can address up to 2 port 16 memory locations. So when you are having 2 port 16 memory locations, so you will be able to address 64 kilobytes of memory because each total 64 kilo locations you can address. And each location is of 1 byte, so 64 kilobytes of memory we can have. We can access, but it is not internal of your microprocessor. It has been connected outside your microprocessor. In 8085, you would be having 8-bit lower bit address bus and uh, which is been multiplexed with the data bus. So these two are multiplexed. The higher order bits would be different. And 8085 is having it supports 74 different types of instructions with the following addressing modes. Addressing modes is nothing but how you address a memory, like immediate addressing mode, register addressing mode, direct addressing mode, indirect, and implant. We'll be having a clear cut view about these addressing modes later on. Just these are the supporting addressing modes which you will be having, which supports 74 instructions using all these addressing. Next one, coming to the next one, it has an ALU which performs these operations like 8-bit binary addition with or without carry, 16-bit binary addition, 2-bit 2-digit BCD addition, 8-bit binary subtraction without borrow, and logical operations like AND or XOR, NOT, and bit shift operations will be carried out. And next one, the 11th feature, which is a feature, or we can say what actually the most important is that the accumulator. For every processor, every microprocessor, there will be an accumulator. Here, an accumulator is named as an A register. It is an 8-bit accumulator. So what the accumulator does is that all the results of the addition or some implied instructions, I mean to say the instructions which doesn't have the source or destination, those values are being stored in the accumulator. Accumulator will have a little bit of additional usage. So you would be having other general purpose registers would be there like B, C, D, H, and L. And two 16-bit registers are there, SP and PC. One is stack pointer, and the other one is program pointer. So these are the registers. And 8085 has enough 5 hardware interrupts like track, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5, INTR. These are the 5 interrupts you will be having. So interrupts, again we'll be having a detailed description of most of the topics. Once again we'll be having. So it supports 5 hardware interrupts. And it has an I/O control. Serial communication also can be possible. It provides the control signals like I/O or memory, read, write signals. When you are going for interfacing to a peripherals, these options are very much required. Whether you are going to read data from the I/O ports or when you are reading your data from the memory, so you require these pins. In addition to this one, you will be having an equivalent hardware, external hardware. Another processor can be a master, your processor would be a slave like that. So it has a mechanism which is possible to increase the interrupts handling capacity. You can connect one of the parity interrupt controller and you can have a larger number of interrupts. The next one is that 8085 even can transfer a data DMA processing. When they say you can direct memory access. Memory can be accessed over there without disturbing the system. So automatically all data would be transferred from one end to the other. This would be making it a faster. Feature is that 8085 is implemented on 3-chip computer with this with supporting IO devices like IC 8155, 8355. These are the features of this one. So on the completion of this lecture, I hope students will be able to list the features of 8081. So anyhow, we'll be having a detailed discussion in our class on this. Thank you.